All right, welcome guys. Welcome. I hope we're all good. All right, I hope we're all good. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So yesterday, we ended up having C1000 moving actually late, very late, because I remember I was up for this trade late into the night. So initially we had a sell bias. I remember on our analysis we mentioned that we were waiting for the daily to go red, if I'm not mistaken. So we had a sell bias there, dropped down to H4. What did we have on H4? H4 formed an M pattern, but I want to go only on yesterday's price action. So when price became bearish right here, at this confirmation here, we were anticipating a pullback and a continuation to the downside, and we also had this level marked out. As you see, it also played a good major role here in giving us a nice sell entry. So if we drop to M15, I just wanted to highlight, I remember we had a sell limit at this level. That's the main reason why I'm explaining this setup. We had a sell limit, I think it was 54.21 if I'm not mistaken. So let me just cross check. Right, 54.21 was our sell limit. So this is an example where price does not tap into the area where we'll be waiting for it. So sometimes price will just move without tapping in a zone or a resistance zone or an order block or a price line which you have. They will just start dropping. So for clues on how to actually catch the trade, if you are following price action candle for candle, like I mentioned yesterday, if you're following your price candle for candle, what you will notice is we actually had this candlestick here. This was AM15. So usually, if you're stalking, soon as you see this candle, you should open one position. As much as price can still push up here or any other zone which you'll be having above, soon as you see any candle showing that price is actually now rejecting, you should actually open the first sell. If you're not in the position already, you should actually open the first sell right there, because usually price will actually give a huge quick move from that area without tapping the zone. So you can also back test on this as well. If you notice, it's also visible here. So you can see this was our point of interest at the top here. So soon as you see this candle, as soon as it closes, you open a position here, right? So on this particular example, now price then proceeded to go into this zone. Then from here, they started pushing. So this is the proper confirmation. So this is where we scale in as well. You scale in, then depending with the setup, you can just target whatever you're targeting. So if you're stalking something, just try to follow price action candlestick for candlestick. That also helps you not to miss the trade. So price dropped, came back up to bounce on the same zone. Where was I active? I think I was active on this trade here at the break and retest of the zone. I had probably one or two positions from here. So when we got this rejection, I scaled in, then I held a bit. I actually left one position to run whilst I slept, and in the morning price was right on the lows. I think it was on about 50 pips of profit, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, this was the run to the downside. So you can see, as long as you've got a bias, it becomes a bit easier to get the interest because you just be targeting order blocks or broken areas which can potentially be retested. So for today, what am I looking for? I'm just paying attention to yesterday's lows, which is right here. So if we can get price to come back into this area, then I can consider sells. For now, I would say that's my only view, and I'll leave this on on H1 so that I can just pay attention to how price will react with the 13 EMA as well. But otherwise, I'm still leaning to a potential short-term sell. But if we come up here, maybe we might still get a short-term sell, but I'm just paying attention to this area for now. Hey, I'm struggling with flu, man, so I'm just going to make this zoom a bit short. C3 also gave a nice setup. So remember yesterday, we were interested in price coming above this area. They gave a rejection on each one. M15 had a pattern. We executed a sell with a stop loss here. So that first sell price decided to extend the high. Then they still created the same pattern with a high here and this being the order block, and price still melted. This is one of the sells which we were actually waiting for the longest of times. If you notice, we were waiting for this sell from this area here. So right now it looks like they've tapped where I would have targeted as a take profit. So what could potentially happen is they might still like spike below maybe to get to the wicks of this candle. That's possible. But at the moment, I would love to see them retrace up a bit. So maybe if we can look for a potential supply zone. So I've got this area here. You can see we have this price action there, which is also an order block. So if we can retrace to this area, then I can potentially look for more sales, looking for this area as a target as well. So this one, I'll leave it on H4. Then I'll just pay attention to price action to see if I can get that retracement. Oh, C500. C500 almost tricked me yesterday into selling it. If you notice from last week, it's only C5 which has been giving us losses. If you want to realize why, is because it's actually trending up and we only sell. So it means either our sales are late or we are trying to force the sales to happen when they are not yet trading. As you can see, price is trading above all moving averages. That's an uptrend, right? So when each time we try to sell, the pattern is there, but the trend is just bullish. That's the only thing which is happening here. So yesterday, if you see, I had marked this zone. I think at some point I actually succeeded in scalping a sell, but I was paying close attention to price action because I didn't want to get any other big loss. So I realized these guys are still pushing up. So I just let them go up, no trades there. So one other thing, if you are selling crash, if you see it trending up, just try to stay away from it. I think that's what we take away from the losses we had. Even if you check on the daily, you will see we were in a bullish move from this area here. You can see this nice rejection here. We broke a level. Yes, we're anticipating a pullback here. I remember I was mentioning anticipating a pullback, but price seems like the bulls were a bit strong. But at the same time, we'll just see how price plays out, because this could also be a pattern forming on the higher time frame. So if we fail to take out this high from I think 2 days ago or 3 days ago, if we fail to take out this highest high here, then we might still actually look for sells, or otherwise this market will be in a range. So to keep it simple, we cannot sell this until price comes below this area based on the current market structure, and we can only look for sells somewhere at the top of this range. So two things can happen at the top here. It's either we'll get equal highs and we'll get a price action to give us a sell here, or price will actually break and continue pushing up. Then if we do come down, the sells will only become high probability as soon as we come below this level. So for C5, we're just going to keep it simple like that. We're going to keep it simple like that. Then B1000 has been bearish. I think it tricked me yesterday into a buy. I had a buy. I actually had a successful buy here. Then somehow I got a bit greedy here. I wanted to scalp another push up. So based on this rejection here, you can see the pattern was there. I also executed a buy. Stop loss was just below that zone. At least I did not hold here. So price came, took me out. They came to hit the previous day's low. If you see here, they tried to reject it, but they failed. So usually, if price is bullish, what will happen is they can still come to the previous day's low with the same pattern like this. They'll push up, induce buyers. Then they'll take out all the buyers here, tap the same level on the previous day's high. Then a new pattern will form here. So that's how you would approach it if the market was bullish. But otherwise, for now, it looks like we're bearish. Let me just check. Okay, it looks like we're heading into this zone. So we'll only start looking for spikes in this area here. This is a daily zone. That is around 14,495. So I'm going to leave this chart on the daily so that I can just try to be active maybe when the price is on the 13 EMA. So that's my only view for B1. Then B5 also tricked us yesterday. Hey, a lot was happening yesterday. What happened with B5 is everything was marked out for a buy, right? Then this was my TP for that buy. This was my target. So what happened is I think where did price take me out? I think if I'm not mistaken, it was here. Because I remember I mentioned I had not seen this level. So after price started rejecting this, I had entered my buys here actually. So price started retracing. If you notice this price action, when it was just this price action, it looked like they wanted to push down. And I was looking at price rejecting this area, which I had not highlighted when we were during the analysis. I had not highlighted it. So I realized that there's an area here, there's an order block here. So price might actually be tapping here for a continuation move down. So I decided to actually close the trade. It's either I closed it or it hit my stop loss. And I even advised in the group that I didn't see this zone. So either you cut your loss or you trade according to the setup you are seeing. I think I tried to specify that. So whoever was seeing buys, I'm sure they held and they managed to actually catch a good trade because these guys continue to be bullish, even though the pullbacks were deep. You see, the thing with B5, it's got very deep pullbacks. So you might have an entry, let's say maybe here at the break of the structure. Price moves, comes back to your entry. You might have an entry here, price moves, comes back to your entry. So B5 sort of gets frustrating at times. It needs a lot of patience. So yesterday it actually took me out and I did not attempt to trade it again. I just let it go. So today, with this price action, we could potentially continue pushing up based on what we are looking at right now. Because I believe the daily also has a nice solid candle from yesterday. So I believe price wants to come take out these highs right there. So that's around 66.10. Price is currently on 65.45. So that's a 65. It's a 65 pip move from where price is currently. So my bias here is still bullish. 4 hour looks like we tapped into a fair value gap right here. We tapped into it. So we could get price pushing from current market price, or they might just give a deep retracement like they always do for no reason, just to frustrate anyone who would have bought. So let's see on H1. H1, we respected the 13, confirming our bullish bias, sort of a baseline bounce here. We could actually get an impulsive move right now. So the current point of interest, which I see, is just this area where price is taken off from. Okay, M15, same area. That's an order block. If you're on M15, it's an order block. So price is bouncing off this area. We've got a W pattern. So we've got the lowest low. We've got an order block. So if we can tap, come a little bit lower, I would consider buys here. If we don't come down here and we push up, I'll wait for them to come back and retest the previous day's high. Then I'll buy from here. Those are my two entry criteria. It's either price is going to tap me in here, but I'll wait for a confirming candle here first before I buy. Then if we don't come down here, I'll wait for them to go up first without me. Then I'll wait for a retracement. Then I'll look for buys around yesterday's high. So that's how I'm approaching B5 today. Then if you notice, I removed V2501S from my watch list here. This was our point of interest on step index yesterday. It was this zone here. Right, I wanted to explain this for those who trade step index. This is what I wanted to explain. So if you notice, this was our point of interest, right? It's an order block. We are bullish, so we are only looking for buys. So this is H1. The first leg was this one. It did not tap into our zone, so we did not enter here. Price decided to come back again and challenge that low right there. So safest entry would have been always above the 13 EMA on H1, right? So I want to mark that area for that safe entry before I explain something quickly. Okay, that's the area there. So soon as that candlestick closes, that's when we look to buy. That's the safe entry. But if price is still down here, you see these two red candles here. Okay, we will be anticipating buys. We've got a bias. Let me see if what I want to explain is visible. So if you come to M15, right, remember we are waiting for price here. This is another example where price does not get into our point of interest. So first point of interest, you want to keep an eye on the current low of the day. So at this point now, price started to actually reject that same area. They did not get here. How do we buy here without, how do I put this? So, okay, let's say we've got a buy limit here. We've got a buy limit. But how do I buy here when I still have a buy limit? So what I'm looking for is a pattern. So if this is the lower low, I need an order block. For this example, it was right here. Remember, H1 is not closed yet. We don't have a safe entry yet. So this is the first order block here. So price comes above, they start retracing, then they give this particular candlestick. See this candlestick here. Once you see that candlestick at near a point of interest, remember our point of interest is here. So it's all about candles. Once you see that candlestick, you should know that price is about to push. So you can have one buy, maybe at the close of this confirming candle, have one buy there, then still have your buy limit here in case they want to come down, right? Then if you notice price then pushed up, closed above here, they pushed up, they closed above the previous day's high right here. At this point, H1 was also closing, right? I think H1 closes either at this point or at this point here, where we put that red line. So after entering the first position, soon as H1 confirms, second position, third position, this is where you are scaling in and you catch this run. Soon as this run is complete, right here, that's your TP. Soon as that run is complete, you are done. So if you're trading step index, these are the type of patterns you need to be looking for. So basically, it's the same pattern. Price is coming down. You have your lower low. Once you have your lower low for that particular area, you look for your order block. Then either you buy at the break or you wait for a retest, just depending with how the candles will be painting. So there's nothing wrong with buying at the close of this candle. You just have to be in mind that there could be a retracement back into an order block. Then here, price continues to break this zone as well. So let's say you had missed this trade. You mark this high here because this, from this lower low, this is also a valid level, as you can see. So you mark this level here. Price retraces back into that area. They start to reject here. So there's nothing wrong with having a buy position there. But this one only came into a little bit of drawdown. But also, if you look to your left, we had a fair value gap here. And we also had this order block on the bottom. So we had a lot of things here, which means your stop loss had to be at least outside that range. So what confirms now that this area is valid is this bullish engulfing right there. It closes above the order block, so you can still buy here, stop loss above that zone, then you can still catch this trade and take profit right there. So that's how you would approach this asset. So remember, it all starts with buyers. We are not even looking for sales because we've got a buying bias. From the beginning of the day, we had a buying bias. So going into it today, what do we have? Price closed above the 200 yesterday. Right now, we're on the 200. So two things can happen. Either price will continue pushing up towards these highs, but for us to get here, this daily candle is to confirm by giving us a close above um the 200 EMA. Based on the previous day's candles, like here, here, this price is actually bullish. The only thing stopping it now is this dynamic resistance area where it is. So from the daily, price can go on either direction. Drop down to H4. You can say the price action here, we cannot really use it. It's almost like B5, the deep retracements. The deep retracements. So these retracements are actually very boring to trade. So sometimes price might still want to come back into this or into this. So entering here is kind of low probability. So you can see now, because the daily is indecisive, it's even hard to pick a direction. So just use your daily to help you with your buyers, then everything else will be a little bit easier. So when we drop down to H1 now, H1 shows that we are steady pushing up. So it's only wise for us if we can still continue looking for buys. So right now, my point of interest would be yesterday's highs. If we can break above yesterday's highs and retest, I can look for continuation buys. That's the first scenario. Second scenario is this zone which we had from yesterday is still valid because it was not retested. I believe it was not retested if my line is straight. Let me just cross check. 8270. All right. It was almost a touch. But anyways, it's still valid. In my books, it's still valid. Price can still come down here, take out today's lows, take out the buyers who've got their stop losses here, bounce off here and still push up. That's also a possible play. So those, for now, I'll say those are the two scenarios I have on step index. Either price will break above, then we can look for a buy, or they will come to this area and we'll still look for a buy. If it doesn't do that, I'll rather wait for the day's candle to actually close so that I can see where the direction is before I actually consider trading this. Then lastly, we've got J10. J10, we were also paying attention. You can see our price is coming back to this level. So this also shows the importance of just drawing your zones into the future, because at some point, price will get there and you will see something familiar. Of course, it's not always whereby you get a pattern, but at some point you will see something you know. And once you see something you know, you go in hard on that trade. So J10, let me just check the daily since each one is not so clear. All right, so if you notice on the daily, most likely this price at some point we are going to get to these highs at the top. Why there? Because you can see there's an 800 EMA coming, which we did not interact with. So at some point we're going to go there. We are trading about the 13 EMA, which means we are bullish. But the past 2 days, though, price looks to be indecisive. We've got no close above this, which means going up for now, there's a little bit of resistance in terms of going up. Coming down, maybe this could be an order block where price can still want to come tap into, maybe they want to come tap into the 13 EMA. So daily for me is not yet clear in terms of direction here. I would still love to just pay attention to this order block. If we can come and tap into it, then I can consider a buy. I would love to see price actually come give like a week. You see this price action here. If it was here, then I was going to buy. So I want to see that price action happen around here, maybe touch the 50 EMA. If we can get that, this will turn into a high probability buy, and we'll actually hold until price gets to the gray zone. So for now, I'll say I'll just stoke on this one and leave this on H4 like this. I'll just also mark this order block here. I just want to see how price is going to act here. Otherwise, we might get something like this. They might come take out this liquidity, then come back, bounce off here, then push up. That's also another play, but my main focus is on this level. So it's this level and this level. So yeah, that's it. J10, we're going to leave it on H4. Step index, we're just potentially going to wait for the day's candle to close today. From 500, with prices approaching a point of interest, this could actually turn into a good trade for the day. There's a possibility is there, as long as we don't break these lows here. If we break these lows, then we'll look for a new pattern to actually form. B1, waiting for them to get to the 13 EMA. C5 is bullish, waiting for them to get to the top there. C3, waiting for a retracement. And C1, waiting for a reaction around this area. So that's it from me today. If you still have questions after watching this, drop them in the Telegram group and we can discuss. If you are trading something else, which is not on my watch list and you still need my view, you can just send me your charts on our Telegram, then we can discuss it a little bit. So apart from that, hopefully everybody's going to have a good day and a good week. It actually feels like Monday today because yesterday was a holiday, but it's actually Thursday. But anyways, hopefully everybody's having a good week. We'll catch up also on New York session. I think I might drop a setup if you've got something. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good trading.